guys on this fine.
She's read this statement above, and she's got some constructive, good suggestions for us
Yes,
today.
I do.
Great,
I do.
thank you.
Enjoying this weather, not. I just wanted to mention that a couple people have mentioned to me that they can't find anywhere that there was discussion on a few things. One of them being you actually canceled the building project last month when we were here, but you just basically said you were going to sell the property. There was never any discussion, any motion on canceling the building project, which I would think that should be done through a motion process. Correct me if I'm wrong. The other thing is I could not find any mention of any salary, and I believe have been told that at least the general or the executive directory, there should be some discussion of salary increases. So I'm assuming that there was no salary increase given to the general manager. I know the meeting was canceled in October when that would normally take place. So I was just curious about that. And I have a couple of, I had asked for emails, and I was originally given a quote of $400 to get some emails, and then it was dialed back to $200 to get some emails because we were going to spend 4 hours redacting them. So I decided not to get that information because 4 hours of redacting 240 emails, what am I going to get anyway? So I'm going to pay you guys money. I mean, it is kind of offensive to me as a taxpayer that I am told by your staff, and I assume that it's not your staff just saying this, I'm assuming she's been directed to say it, that it's not your job to answer taxpayers' questions. That's a problem. But anyway, I don't want to get too nasty, so I'm going to end it there. But I think you guys need to be a little more transparent with the information because I can't find any motions to cancel the building project. I mean, obviously, you guys said you were going to build it, though I've been hearing rumblings that you're hoping to be able to hold on for 4 years and then maybe build it. But it is kind of, as a taxpayer, it's kind of upsetting. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is the other night when it was 51 degrees, Mosquito truck went by my house 4 times. 4 times. Boom, 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 boom. Why? I didn't call and ask for it. And from what I understand, from doing a little bit of research on the chemicals, they're not really effective at those temperatures. So anyway, that's all I had.
No one else? Okay, new business?
Chairman, if I may, neither you nor Commissioner Cox have officially been sworn in yet, so if we can read that up, and then we'll have to go back and formally make the approval for the approval agenda and consent agenda. Because business cannot be conducted prior to, so that is our mistake in putting it where we did on the agenda. So if we could pause for a moment, move to reinstating the commissioners, and then go back and make the motions.
Very well. Yes. Want us to come out?
There's a letter.
I have one.
Yeah, it's all
Can print one out.
Yes, exactly. I have the oath here, just one? Just one, I've got that one. Where would you like to stand?
How about in front of a flag or?
Okay.
It's not good that individual.
Yeah. I'll slide over.
It'll still be in the picture.
Not if Maria stands over there.
Thank you.
You're fine.
There we go.
Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Mike DeYogs,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend
protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the state of Florida,
the state of Florida,
and the rules and regulations of the
the rules and the regulations
of the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board,
of the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution of the state,
under the Constitution of the state,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
perform the duties
perform the duties
as a member
as a member
of the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board,
of the Pasco County Mosquito Control Board,
on which I am now about to enter.
of which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And
Thank you.
sign.
Yes, ma'am. You too, sir.
You're fine.
Sure. The official picture?
Oh, no.
You in the middle.
Oh, okay. Officially.
Madam Clerk.
Officially.
No, you look fine. You look good. Do it down here, make me look taller. All right, good.
Oh, where's that phone book?
All right.
Down there in the middle, put it where there's no chairs. This is where you take away the shader.
Where do you want that? Top and bottom?
Or to Lindsay's, thank you. We'll get it. And then we have to send that $10. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Thank you. We appreciate you being here.
And
Honored.
I'll take care of this part.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Thanks for everything you do. Congratulations. You got it. That's nice.
very lucky.
That's nice. Oh, you do a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna start here, do my thing. And
Okay.
you're good to go?
Great, thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
All right.
So, Mr. Chairman, I will move that we approve the agenda and the consent agenda.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. 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 All right. And, we already did that. New business, we already got one. Okay. Position change,
So, Mr. Chairman, I will move to reorganize the Board of Commissioners as follows. Matthew Abbott to serve as chairman of the board, myself to serve as secretary of the board, Randy Evans to serve as treasurer of the board. This reorganization shall take effect immediately upon approval of the motion.
very well, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. I had it, you got it. Okay.
At this point, we're under new business. Today, we start the new year with fires, blizzards, and snow in Florida. So I think it's gonna be an exciting environmental year here for us in Florida. And the other thing that must be noted is this now is part of the tropics. And used to be called Gateway to the Tropics, but I do believe that's changed, as we can see from the advancement of disease in this county. So, the next great thing we're gonna do here is bring Brett Hicks forward. Hello, good morning. Brett's here this morning with a quarterly All-Star Award, and gone above and beyond. So it's a pleasure to be here today, acknowledge and celebrate the accomplishments of one of our exceptional team members. Come on up, Brett. You got a small audience today, so not much to it.
Shy.
In every organization, there's individuals who consistently go above and beyond, getting a standard to their peers, embodying the values that we all cherish. Today, we honor the fourth quarter 2024 award into 2025. Brett Hicks is a highly dedicated employee for several years. How many years now?
Going on 18 in March.
18. 2026 or 27 you came in? No, 2006 or 2007.
Yeah.
Which year was it?
I'm not sure.
Okay, we'll figure that out afterwards. HR will know that one. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
I'm over here.
Brett's grown significantly in his role as aquatic herbicide supervisor. Some of the achievements include the following: initiative to seek additional opportunities for education and training to advance his supervisory skills. Under Brett's leadership, the aquatic herbicide department is transformed into a cohesive unit, eagerly striving for more increased productivity and outstanding customer service. In addition, he's also endeavored to make his department more professional by joining associations to advance the team, learn from other experts, share ideas through networking, investigate new products and new treatment methods. Brett took the initiative to build an in-house research greenhouse, working with the appropriate agencies for permitting, which now allows Pasco Mosquito to evaluate new products under controlled settings to optimize control efforts and increase efficiencies. Brett, if you please accept a token of appreciation and recognition of our exceptional efforts. Nobody believes that you are a broken one now. True asset to the team, and we're proud to name you the 2024 fourth quarter All-Star Award. Any other comments?
Yes, I'll just add to that. Brett has been a tremendously valuable asset to our organization. In the last 4 years, becoming supervisor of the aquatics department, he has truly blossomed into a great leader for that group, and he's transformed our aquatic division. So I really appreciate everything that Brett's done to advance that side of our organization, and he's really done a tremendous job. And he's an exemplary member of the team that the others truly admire and look up to. So we appreciate everything you do, Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It wasn't too many years ago that we didn't have an aquatics department. Do you remember what year that took effect?
Not really. Ricky was here for when I started, so
Okay.
it was just a one-man crew.
One-man crew back then. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Don't go anywhere, Brett.
You get to hold that too.
We'll get a picture.
Pictures?
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you don't like this line.
No.
You stand next to him, otherwise I look really short.
There you go, Brett. All right. Okay. One. And one more.
Smile.
Smile, everybody. All right, good job. Thank you.
You want to adjust the commissioners?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
The next thing on the agenda, I asked to be brought forward, like to suggest to the board that we review our property liability and land marine insurance coverages. They're a significant cost to our organization and to most organizations. The thought I had on approach to this is that we look to the community to bring one or two advisors in to take a look at this. The intent is not to have them quote on it. The intent is to simply point out if there's areas that we should make changes at. So I'll open it up to discussion.
Well, I think that's a really good idea. I mean, it's, you know, periodic reviews of insurance coverages is, you know, a smart thing to do. Yeah, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, well, who would you bring in to do that? It needs to be somebody from the insurance industry. There may be a consultant out there that you could, retain to do that. And then, it's a good idea that, when was the last time we shopped all the insurance coverages?
So this year, we shopped the aviation because there were, some additional opportunities for us. So aviation was this year. As far as our broker's role, do we know how frequently
Yeah, Max.
they do that?
Bouchard has been our broker for quite some time. I don't, even before I was here. Before that, I don't believe that they had another broker look at it. So that would be something we can look at. They've had preferred governmental, it's Pidget, so it's preferred has been the actual company that's been taking care of our liability insurance.
Is there anything available through our association affiliations that we have?
As far as reviewing what we have available?
Yeah, reviewing or availability of, you know, brokerage as well.
So there are other brokerage firms that are part of the associations that we're also part of. But as far as any services that would allow for an external review of that, not that I'm aware of, but, that's something that we can explore further.
I mean, I think it's probably asking them the question, you know, if they have, anything in that nature. You know, one thing, I periodically review insurance policies for clients and, you know, very rarely do we ever find an agency that is able to handle everything. Right, so, I mean, back in the day, we all, probably the majority of us have lived in Florida for 50+ years, probably had State Farm, and they did everything for us, right? Well, then State Farm got rid of, you know, property insurance. They really got down to just wanting to insure cars, and they weren't very competitive at that. So instead of going to one agent, typically you might have 3 or 4 agents in your life. So, you know, I think it's a great idea that you're bringing it up, and I think the staff should really look into it. But,
Okay.
you know, I would try to reach out to the associations and ask them, what they have.
Right, so why don't we task them with that and then bring back suggestions to us at the next board meeting?
Next board meeting's probably too soon.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Well,
it's gonna take a while. That's gonna.
No, I'm not saying to review it by that time, I'm simply to come back with suggestions as
Oh,
to who we should use.
right. Well, that's good.
As head advisors is what I get at, just
Sure.
suggested advisors, so we're organizations, whatever it might be. Okay, any other on that discussion, Randy? No, Andrew?
Before you move to the next
Yeah,
topic, so
sounds good.
what I've just passed down the line, this is all of our liability insurance, the total premium, and then if you look past the first summary table, you'll see the information on what the coverage for each of those items is, to add to the discussion. Or just simply for your review as we're looking into this a little bit further.
Did You mentioned aviation, did that result in a change? Obviously, that's what Chubb,
It
they're
was a
big aviation.
change, but,
insurance.
I don't know what the difference,
If there was quite a bit of a difference.
we can
We can
get
look
that
that up.
information for
Yeah.
you, if you wanna compare the price from last year, is that what you're asking?
Well, it's price and coverage. I mean, the first thing that a lot of brokers will do is, you say, oh my gosh, my insurance went up, whatever it did. Well, the first thing they do is, if there's not a lot of lines out there of companies that will do that type of insurance, they'll look to cut your coverage. So, that's a concern.
So there was a cost factor involved with switching the aviation, so it was the same coverage, but there was a lesser cost to moving, with Bouchard handling that. The other thing that did occur with our liabilities, our workers' compensation did go down by $3,000 this year due to, the audit. So we were able to reduce that cost.
But workers' comp is set by the state, so that savings was probably a result of a reclassification of an employee.
It,
to-
that
it
is
was, and
Right.
our modification rating went to 1, it was
Yeah.
at 0.77, so that helped tremendously.
Right,
Mhm.
right. But, the other thing that is a concern with insurance companies in the state of Florida is, whether or not they're an admitted carrier to the state. A lot of people don't realize this, but the admitted carriers are the only ones that have access to the insurance pool. So if you look at your premiums, there's a charge on your, every insurance policy that goes into the state insurance pool. And what that allows is if a company who is an admitted carrier files for bankruptcy, then the policyholders can go to that fund and get paid their claims out. This state is full of surplus line insurance. The state legislature's allowed these surplus lines to come into play. They do not have access to policyholders in those, do not have access to the state pool. So what that means is, and you're gonna start seeing this, the surplus lines companies, they file for bankruptcy, those policyholders are out of luck. They will not get their full claim paid, or maybe any of their claim paid. So surplus line insurance companies are real, in my opinion, a real problem. So I'm sure that this policy through Chubb for the aviation, and I see Chubb has it, but it looks like it's a subsidiary company of theirs, which is Westchester Fire. What really comes into concern there is what their reinsurance is. So how strong is their reinsurance pool? And that's how the surplus lines are able to, in some cases, have lower rates than admitted carriers. They'll have, reinsurance that will pay the claim, in the event there's a catastrophic, they have a catastrophic loss. Like we've seen with all the flooding, you're gonna see a lot of companies, I think, file for bankruptcy and some of this stuff. So these are some of the things that we need to be looking for. A good insurance broker is gonna know all this and help guide you on that. So I would be more apt to talk to some other brokers and show them all of our coverages and get their opinions. Yes, they're ultimately wanting the business, but the only way they're gonna win the business is if they show us our current coverage is inadequate. Maybe it's too high, I doubt that to be the case, but in some instances, you find that, the coverage exceeds the values. So in those instances, you reduce it. You don't see that very often, but it does happen. And, you know, more importantly, they'll look for other, lines. A broker has access to certain insurance companies. So broker A may have 30 companies, broker B may have 30 companies, but they're different. So, they're only gonna propose it to the ones that they have alliances with. So it's important to shop several other brokers, I think, periodically.
So I'm familiar with insurance commissioners, state of Florida insurance commissioners' website when it comes to property insurance and admitted lines and non-admitted lines, but is that a go-to site for all of the commercial lines on this type of insurance?
Yeah, probably, yeah, cause they all have to be licensed to do business in Florida.
Right. I think the difference you were pointing out was between admitted lines and non-admitted.
Yeah, there's a big difference.
Okay. All right. Very good. Anything else?
And those that offer commercial insurance are gonna be difficult to find in this area.
I don't think so.
Huh?
I don't think so, not this day and age.
Oh,
Maybe
trust me.
10 years ago.
That's all I have is commercial property. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
tough.
horrible.
Well, if we gotta cross the line, I guess we'll have to do it.
Yeah, it's not easy, and I can imagine aviation insurance is.
Well, there's the most challenging
I
one.
can tell you that it's not easy for boat insurance. I can tell you that, firsthand.
Yeah. Good thing we're not shopping for residential insurance. Okay. Anything else? That's it. We'll move on to the next item. And that is, talk about creating a road maintenance agreement, amongst all the, property owners on Marathon Road. We, some years ago, as you know, maintained and paved the road out here. We had some help from some of our neighbors. And fortunately, the roads held up pretty well. But now that we're going to be here from now into the next century, it's time probably that we rethink about making sure our neighbors help us out as we go forward on this. So I do believe, unless you guys know of another way, we'll probably need attorney involvement to do that. If you have anything, I'm sure you probably got a little background in that, Adrian?
So at our last discussion, this came before the board, we had discussed approaching the county with a formal
Right.
ask.
Request, that's right.
A formal request that they take over the road.
That's right.
I don't know if, I don't think we ever made a motion to move that direction. We talked about that as being the first step, and if the county still did not want to take over the road, then we would go to
Okay.
that as the next option, so,
Well, let's do that
would
now.
you still want to do it in that order?
Sure.
So,
I was under the impression, when I saw this on the agenda, I thought we were gonna receive an update on what was happening, because it was months ago that we discussed this, and I thought we moved a motion on it to formally ask Pasco County to take over the road as a county-maintained road. Suspecting they'd come back to us and say, well, it needs to be brought up to standards. So, that may be something that we have to do at some point. The fallback position was to create, the quasi HOA for the maintenance of the road. So, I thought we directed the attorney to actually do that.
So I have had discussions with Ms. Donaldson about it. She's communicated with, District Attorney Steve Booth to get some of the insight into the history of how we acquired the road. So that has been done. But if that is what we want to do, if we could, just formally task we'll explore that route, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll see what we can do to get some additional buy-in from the other entities that are using this road. Now that we have the property across the street has been leased out, to a new company, there's a lot more, traffic that's coming, utilizing this road, so, I think that would definitely be the fallback if the county is not willing to take it over.
Okay,
So I've talked to Steve Booth several times over this road. And I understand how we acquired the road. The board and the executive director at the time should not have allowed that to happen, but they did.
the attorney suggested it.
Well, I think it was more the attorney doing it, which, I'm not overly convinced it ever came before the board for approval. Cause it doesn't actually sound to me like it did. But we're strapped with it. The ask needs to be, we do need to ask the county, and I'll just move a motion. I'll move that we direct our attorney to request that Pasco County government take over Marathon Road as a county-maintained road. So that's a motion under discussion. It needs to be worded in a fashion, the request needs to be obviously in writing, but the request needs to also, request the county do it, and if there's a caveat that it needs to be brought up to standards, that needs to be part of the county's reply.
Now, is that a county road privately maintained? I know we own it.
So it's a private road and privately maintained. You know, and that leads to another thought in my head. Do these other property owners that abut the road, that have access to it, do they have an ingress and egress agreement to this road?
Good point.
You know, and the other issue with this road is, it leads into other areas. It's not just, you know, to the end of the street and it's blocked off. So there's people that do not abut this road that are using it.
My understanding is it can be blocked off.
Well, I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if at the end of the day, we're strapped with it, then that end ought to be closed off there, so the people all in that industrial park aren't going in and out of it. And everybody on this road needs to agree to, help with the maintenance of it. So that needs to get done.
And you've got the theft factor that comes in too, with the back access on the road.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we're looking for a second.
No seconds.
No second.
No second? No, okay. Done with discussion?
Done.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, there is none. Done. All right. Adrian, you're front and center. Report of the day.
Or any unfinished business?
Oh, I'm sorry.
None?
Any unfinished business? No. Director's report?
All right, since Lena was unable to make it this morning, I will go through the dashboard provided to give you an update on items related to, the surplus property and our existing facility. So we had a meeting with Envision, an initial brainstorm meeting earlier this month, to discuss what our options might be for, rebuilding and, improving some of the areas on our existing site here. We do not have any sort of design, just talking about potential options and, what our biggest priorities are moving forward. Upcoming meetings, upcoming items, as you know, the invitation to bid is live, a couple of, specific items related to the ITB coming up here in the next couple of days. We are offering a property tour for those who have received the full invitation to bid, that is coming up later this week. We have the, due date for questions in response to the ITB is the 29th, so that's later next week. Then we have the, any addendums issuance by the 31st of the month, and then the full, responses are due to the district at noon on February 12th, which then there will be a formal bid opening at that time. We also have,
Sorry, when was the bid opening? February
February 12th.
the sealed bids are due on the 12th, and they'll be open.
Okay.
And then that will be presented to you all at the, February meeting, which is just a couple of days after that.
That's interesting, that's the only one we don't have a date on page one.
Oh, that is likely because, we, as of the week before last, we were going to propose a new date for the February meeting, but we don't have to do that anymore.
Okay.
So that is, stand by 1 second.
That's actually in the agenda here, isn't it? Yeah, February 18th.
Yes. Yes, Tuesday, February 18th. Any other questions on the ITB or items related to that?
No?
Have you had any, questions as of right now?
We have, and we issued our first addendum on Friday.
Okay.
And so,
And how many, organizations did you send, the invitation to bid to?
the full invitation to bid went out to 3 individuals.
3.
That's correct.
Okay. And then it's been, I saw it advertised and posted, so.
Right. It is, on our website as well, and if there's anyone else, any other area we should be, or we could be disseminating that information to, let me know. And we
So
can-
who were the 3 that this was sent out to?
2 of them are, developers, and one is another tree farm.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting.
Will Pasco County advertise this for us on their website or webpage?
We can ask them to, I don't know if they will, but
Okay.
we can ask that they do that.
Okay.
So which developers did it go out to?
MI Homes and, Ripa.
Ripa? What about Metro?
We've not heard from Metro. Do you have a contact there?
Yeah, I probably do. Yeah, they should get a bid package, cause the Metro is, doing so much in the county. It's, I think they're the lead developer in Angelina, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm sorta out of that now, to know who all's doing that, but they did a lot of the major projects in Pasco County. They did the connected cities and all of that. So, I'll see if I can find a contact.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Other questions on that before I switch gears?
Nope.
Okay. We've all been working with the legislative delegation, meeting some of the demands that were placed in the district since our last meeting. We've had subsequent meetings legislative delegation meeting, and, the representative was very pleased with our swift and decisive action of the board, and because of that, Representative Maggard did rescind the bill to dissolve the district into the county, stating that he had been working with the district and in an act of good faith would, just check back in with us around this time next year, to see where we were on certain items. This decision, of course, is, very well received by the staff. We've all been very deeply concerned about the potential for the dissolution, as it created uncertainty not only for the continuation of our services, but also, the job security of the very highly skilled and dedicated team that we have built. Many of our staff whose passion and expertise drive the success of the district, really left questioning whether they would be needing to seek employment elsewhere due to the uncertainty of what the future of the district held. So since Representative Maggard's action to rescind the bill, these concerns have since been alleviated, and I'm relieved to say that our team can now continue to serve the citizens of Pasco County with confidence and continue to provide the same very high quality public health protection that they have come to rely upon us for. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was on the same page there. Though we seem to be getting a legitimate winter this year, and having cooler temperatures, even with the possibility of snow up in the Panhandle later this week, tonight into the Panhandle, we continue to have arbovirus transmission. We are still under the advisory from the Florida Department of Health for ongoing transmission from 2024. We have continued our sentinel chicken surveillance up through last week, with additional detections, even coming still cases coming from people moving into the county, and human cases as well. So we have continued our full arsenal of surveillance up through last week, and our ULV treatments. We are starting to pull the coops in now, with the remainder of 2 that will stay out in the field, 2 out in the eastern portion of the county where we still have floodwater on the ground from Hurricane Milton. No, the other one. Milton. You said it. I said it.
Debbie, Helene, and
I-
Milton.
Yes, from Hurricane Milton, the
They
last
merged.
one.
Yeah.
The one with the riverine flooding. So that water is still on the ground out there. We're still getting arboviral transmission, in East Pasco, and so we're keeping 2 of the coops out, but, the rest of them are going to be brought in. Chickens will be brought in this week. We do our annual deep clean sanitation of the coops, get them prepared for new birds to come in a month or 2, depending on what happens with the weather. So as far as our ULV treatments, that we'll be scaling that back just to disease response as it has been the last couple of weeks. But this is unusual to have rain this time of year with the warmer temperatures, as well as the transmission continuing. So in past years, we've stopped the suction traps and the sentinel chickens before Christmas. This year, like I said, we just stopping the blood drawing last week, with 2 exceptions that will remain out in the field. And you know, while yes, it's cold, we've had significant cold this year. As I'll just remind the board that in central West Florida, getting temperatures that drop below 50 degrees on occasion is not enough to kill mosquitoes. We need sustained temperatures below 50 degrees for several weeks at a time in order for mosquitoes to actually die off. It slows down their life cycle, but that's all it does for us. The huge temperature swings we have, where it's 40 degrees in the morning and 70 degrees in the afternoon, that is enough to keep mosquitoes alive and well, and spreading disease, which is evident by the additional cases and additional sentinel chickens that we have popping positive. And so, We will continue our treatments as long as we need to, as we can with the weather. This week, because it's so slow, any mosquitoes that may have hatched from, the rain that's coming today or the rain that came over the weekend, they are slower to develop, but they are not gone. So I just wanted to make that very clear. We had our FDEX inspection a couple weeks ago. That is their quote-unquote routine inspection, although the last one wasn't, they typically doing them about every 2 years, the last decade or so. The last inspection, from FDEX that we had was November of '22, so, a year and a month, or excuse me, 2 years and 1 month, between inspections, but we did have that. And of course, they found us to be compliant with everything and operating as expected. So, just to report that, we're doing a good job there. Our rescheduled inaugural Pasco One Health Alliance meeting, if you recall, we had to reschedule due to the hurricanes. The meeting was originally scheduled for October, right after Milton affected us, and so, we rescheduled that, and it is coming up this Friday, so we're very excited with the group of attendees that we have coming to that meeting, and the interest that we have in forming this alliance so that we can more cohesively address both human and animal health needs in Pasco County. So we've got that coming up. We're pretty excited about that. The staff have been working diligently to get everything in order to host that great group this Friday. We're also hosting a tire amnesty and bromeliad shredding event this year. So that is coming up February 4th through February 8th. So we're doing it over several days span, both weekdays and on a Saturday, to try to capture those who may be unable to get off of work to dispose of any used tires or bromeliads. Florida Department of Health, Pasco County is partnering with us on that endeavor, and then we will ultimately be seeking reimbursement through Department of Environmental Protection in Florida, because they have that program available to us. There are. Sure.
Question, if I may, on Department of Health and Pasco County, how, in what way are they contributing? How are they helping us?
So just the Department of Health, not in Pasco County.
Oh.
Department of Health in Pasco County.
Oh, okay.
Our health department. So they are helping to disseminate the information. We're working to see if they may be able to help in staff to man it. So it'll be happening from the hours of 8 to 3 during those days. And so
Okay.
we'll have a check-in process. There will be some limitations on what individuals can bring. We can't accept from commercial outfits. They have to be Pasco County residents. There's a maximum of 6 tires per individual, per resident. We can't accept tires with rims, or if they're full of debris and they're dirty.
So I'm just doing the math on that, so what's the disposal fee, typically $2 a tire?
I don't know the exact amount.
Around there. It might even be $5 or $6 now.
What the county charges?
Well, when you go to purchase a set of tires, you're paying a disposal fee for the old ones.
It's
right off the bat.
$1.50 per tire.
I think it's more than that.
Well, some.
I'll let you know, I gotta buy a new set of tires for my truck.
Already? I think some can mischarge, but I think it is around $1.50 or $2.
I think it's more.
But that's probably a state mandated fee, right?
It is.
It is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they steal all the money from us.
Right, that's correct. So 2 times 6 is $12 plus to get here versus going out to Hayes Road. Just trying to think about the motivation for people to participate in this. What is the motivation?
They are helping to reduce the potential breeding habitat for our main disease vector.
That's
And
good.
they're cleaning up their yards.
Right.
The restrictions for the 6, maximum of 6 tires is actually the Department of Environmental Protection.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is some of this money gonna be reimbursed to us, or is this?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so that's the reason, they
That's
set the
why
rules.
They set the
Yeah, okay.
criteria that we follow. programs that have done it this way with these restrictions, they've been successful. People do bring them out, so hopefully we'll have similar results. And then the bromeliad shredding, say to a four-star breeding site for easy to die, and so, if the resident wants to take the mulch home with them, they can do that, they can also have mulch, but, so that's an additional incentive.
So you're gonna have a company here that's actually doing the shredding?
So we'll rent the equipment and
Okay.
we'll use the equipment, and then we'll reimburse for the rental fees.
For the tires and?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, I'm all for it. I'm just sitting here kind of evaluating, making sure that we get enough participation. I'm sure Maria will have more ideas in a few minutes about that. Go ahead.
Yeah,
What's
and if
next?
there's any other ways that you, know of ways to get the word out, we'll certainly, listen to any suggestions that you might have.
Right. Okay, well, I don't wanna hold you up on that one, keep going.
Okay, because neither Nick nor Agna are at the board meeting today, I can move into those items if you'd like.
All right.
We did have one minor vehicle incident since our last meeting. There were no injuries, just slight damage to the vehicle that we're able to fix in-house. And then the arbovirus report. I'm going to recap all of 2024, but then also give the 2025 numbers up through, January 11th. And so, for 2024, West Nile virus, acquired in Florida, locally acquired, there were 18 human cases throughout the state, in Bay County, Duval, Glades, Hillsborough, Lake, Levy, Marion, Martin, Okeechobee, Pasco, Pinellas, Santa Rosa, Seminole, and Walton counties. There were an additional 10 asymptomatic blood donors from Citrus, Duval, Hernando, Manatee, Marion, Orange, Polk, and Walton counties. 2024 travel-associated chikungunya cases, there were 11, excuse me, for, travel-associated oripooch, 103 cases throughout 2024. We had 3 international travel cases of oripooch here in Pasco County. For travel-associated dengue cases, there were 966 cases throughout the state of Florida. In addition to that, so we had, for locally acquired cases of dengue in Florida, there were 90 locally acquired cases in Broward, Hillsborough, Manatee, Miami-Dade, Monroe, Orange, Palm Beach, Pasco, Polk, and Sarasota counties. For malaria, travel-associated malaria, there were 69 cases throughout the state of Florida. We have good for the AAA totals. Alachua had EEE, Bradford, Columbia, Duval, Highlands, Hillsborough, Holmes, Jackson, Lake, Levy, Madison, Marion, Martin, Osceola, Pasco, Pinellas, Polk, Putnam, St. John's, Suwannee, Volusia, and Walton counties. Okay, then switching gears to cases for 2025, we have West Nile virus. There have been, no humans, no horses, no sentinel chickens. Same for St. Louis encephalitis virus thus far. EEE activity, there has been 1 horse identified in Bradford County, just this past week. International International Travel Associated Dengue, we've already had 22 cases of travel-related dengue in the state of Florida. Locally acquired, there have been 3 already in the state of Florida in the last week. International chikungunya, we have had no cases so far, nor has there been any locally acquired cases for chikungunya or pooch. We have had no Zika cases, and currently under advisories, we have Hernando, Holmes, Madison, Orange, Putnam, and Volusia under mosquito-borne illness advisory, Duval, Hillsborough, Manatee, Marion, Miami-Dade, Monroe, and Pasco under mosquito-borne illness alert. The fact that we have that many counties under an advisory and alert in January is very concerning. And that is atypical. We have not seen that
And
in
that
prior
report
years.
is as of the 17th?
That is as of, one second, week 2 of the month. So that is January 5th through January 11th. It was issued just last week. So, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be slowing down from what we saw in 2024. And like I said, it's not a very good outlook. Hopefully we will see something different happen here with the weather pattern, and I'd like to be able to report something more positive the next time.
I ask a question about trap counts.
Well, the positive thing is that, we're all here to combat that, and, some parts of Florida don't have a program in place for a special district, so there'll be parts of Florida that, suffer because of that.
Go ahead.
So on the trap counts, so 2023, December, there's 15,000 females. In 2024, there were 61,000. When I look at this map, so the first question is, how many more additional traps do we have out from 24 versus what we had out in 23?
There are a significant number more, because
Okay.
with every, both human, with every suspected case, human case that we get, or animal, we set out additional traps. And so because of the tremendous amount of activity we had last year, more than we've ever had, the number of traps was a lot higher. So, yes, that does factor into the number, the overall total number. But if you look at the heat source, for each one of these, so every orange dot is your trap site.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
But
I've got some
the-
comments.
The larger the circle,
Yeah.
the more per trap.
Right.
So not only can you see that there are additional traps placed,
Yeah.
but you can also see that each one is collecting on average more than they were the prior year.
They are, and the one thing that sort of stands out to me on the 2024 heat map is, the number and the size of circles along the county, our southern county line. So the question is, what do those counts look like in Pinellas and Hillsborough County? Because, Mosquito doesn't go, oh, wait a minute, I can't go there because that's a county line, so I can't fly from Pinellas County into Pasco County. So my concern is, what is Pinellas and Hillsborough County doing to monitor and protect the citizens there? I mean, it very well could be that these mosquitoes are originating in another county and coming up to our county, we're trapping them and having this statistic here. So what's the coordination really between the counties?
So as far as trap placement, I don't have each one of their trap locations, nor do they have ours. When we have something that is very close to the border, when we have whether it's a human case or like we saw with the Triple E efforts early in the spring of last year, we do communicate with our neighbors
Your counterparts.
So we're working with Hillsborough, working with Pinellas when we have something that's close to our border, so that they know and they do the same. So if they have a case that's on the northern edge of their counties, they'll let us know as well. As far as treatment protocols and what their surveillance is like, they do things a little bit differently than we do. They don't have the resources that we do. They don't have the capacity to add 3 additional traps per case and monitor them for 6 weeks like we do. So I don't know what additional traps they're setting. I don't know the specific locations of their surveillance efforts. But when we do have a disease situation, we are communicating that information so that
Yeah.
we can protect
So,
both sides.
one of the areas that it bothers me is that, you know, most of us don't realize these county boundaries. There needs to be a regional approach to some of this stuff. And, sharing of information and periodically meeting with counterparts, I think is a really smart thing to try to do. Right now, everybody, every county's working in a silo. You know, we're an independent district. Pinellas and Hillsborough are run under the Board of County Commissioners, so they have constraints there, but those constraints are affecting our citizens. And that's a concern to me. Is there any periodic meetings that you have with your counterparts?
So in the spring, we do an annual meeting with
Okay.
just our regional counties, so that's from Citrus down to Pinellas and Hillsborough, and then out to Polk.
Okay.
So we try to get that group together, so we do meet on an annual basis. But that's the frequency of that larger group
And
meeting together.
Who organizes that?
Our regional not inspector, technical expert with DAX.
With
is
DAX,
the one
okay,
who heads that up.
okay.
We hosted it here last year. Formerly it had been up at Citrus County. So last year, actually, we got more participation than we had since they started doing that about 8 years ago. That's the most counties represented because we held it here instead of up in Citrus County. So we had Hillsborough, we had Pinellas, we had Polk, and all the way up to Citrus just coming.
I really think that we need to shine a light on that fact and request that DAX organize these meetings more often. I mean, I think quarterly meetings should be appropriate to try to look at this thing from a regional standpoint.
I agree with you, and with the fact that the CDC a couple years ago, put out a report that only 20% of mosquito control districts can handle a disease outbreak in the state. We're, looking at some real problems coming up this year.
Well, I mean, it just, this data is glaring to me that there is an issue,
Well, if you-
down,
if you look-
happening south of us that's affecting us here.
Yeah.
And a perfect example of that is the emu flock that, was infected. There's no doubt in my mind that started in Hillsborough County, and it came up here for us to deal with it. I talked to the gentleman who owns that flock, and he couldn't say, all the positive things he said about how we reacted to it. That he was very fortunate that he was under our umbrella than being, a few feet to go into another county. He believes that because of the response that our district gave, it saved a lot of his livestock and other things, and he said, no people got infected by it. So, I would encourage you to request suggest more frequent meetings of that group.
Are the surrounding mosquito controls, invited to the Pasco One Health meeting Friday?
No, because
No.
it's just Pasco.
Okay.
And it is just our first meeting, I mean, if we
Yeah.
feel the need to bring others in after that, and, you know, if it's successful, I could see it being a model for other counties, but because it is our first meeting, and this is our conference room, we
Right.
needed to limit the space.
Sure.
But the one thing that we've heard from the programs in the past, and I think the reason it's only annual, that we're meeting is because it's difficult to try to schedule something like that during our busy season. So, you know, we're all pulled in many different directions and responding to these situations, and so, to have something calendared that we can meet more frequently is difficult. But that's not insurmountable, so, I can certainly ask the question. Now, in addition to the regional meeting, we have, you know, the annual meetings that are statewide. DAX has their coordinated council meeting once a quarter. We have the annual meeting for the association. We have, DOD coming up at the end of January. So we have the directors caucus where we talk about things like this, with all of the program directors. So there are other opportunities that we're connected and that we're meeting with each other and discussing these types of issues, but as far as the region specific, it is just the once a year. Where it's
Yeah,
hopefully
well,
that
at
we
those
can-
meetings, you really need to bring up the fact that there needs to be coordination in the area.
So to expand on that, if you look at the biggest heat map area, it's Fox Hollow, hole number 3, which is where the 3 counties come together. And just to the south of that is Brooker Creek Preserve. Does or can Pinellas treat Brooker Creek Preserve?
So their applications are limited. There's a road that where their trap is, and their chicken coop is, that they do some ULV applications, via truck. And if you recall, that's the same area where they had triple E around the time we did as well. And so, it's certainly an area, and also when you look at the migratory pattern of the birds that are typically transmitting West Nile, Eastern Echinocephalitis, they're all coming right in this general area, right here to Pasco, North Pinellas and Hillsborough and into Polk counties. And so, that absolutely factors into what we're seeing in our sentinel chickens for all 3 of our counties, but then of course, you know, what else we see on top of that. So I don't know the extent of how else they could treat Brooker Creek, but I do know that they are able to run ULV trucks at least along that road. But that's.
Is that controlled by the Water Management District or by somebody else?
I don't know who owns it,
Okay.
or who manages it, excuse me.
Right. Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty,
That's all I have.
thank you.
Other than Adrian's having a birthday tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Nice. Okay, Maria Johnson, you are front and center. Got some information on outreach and education.
Commissioners, Happy New Year to all 3 of you, I should say. So our outreach department helps educate the community about mosquitoes and the vital role that Pasco County Mosquito Control District has in protecting public health, and also educating them on their role as well on how to prevent mosquitoes. So we've been busy from December to January, and in December we were honored to give back to the community as part of our team did take part in the Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Tent Heroes Day, where Metropolitan Ministries does invite everyday heroes to come and serve the community that are in need. We also participated in the Newport Richie Christmas Parade. We had a 2-day school program in December. The Bloodmobile was here at Pasco County Mosquito Control District. And then we had an interview with the Suncoast News, which was published in January, and the title was Mosquito-Borne Illness Still Posing a Danger, excuse me. Also in January, we attended the Pasco County delegation. We had a speaking event at the Newport Richey Main Street. We had here at the district, the Hope Homeschool Co-op program. So we were able to give them a tour and give them some great education, and that was from kindergarten on up age. We also had another 2-day school program in January. We attended the Pioneer Museum community event here in the middle of January, and this past weekend attended the ribbon cutting and grand opening for the Always Center, which is a prevention and recovery community center here in Newport Richey area. Just some miscellaneous things coming up. Obviously, some of these Director Rogers already spoke about, but our DOD education classes are coming up. Our Pasco One Health Alliance is Friday, January 24th, where we have a great crowd of key community stakeholders attending. And then here in February, we have many community events that we are participating in. All our events, for anybody that would like to know about them, are on our Pasco County Mosquito Control District website calendar. Then, as Director Rogers stated, we have our Tire Amnesty Week in Vermilion shredding on February 4th through 8th. I do have some flyers, commissioners, if you would like to help distribute those, we would be appreciative. I can give you some, but in reference to Commissioner Abbott, the ways that we are getting that information out is through Pasco County is helping us out, and they will be promoting that and helping us do that. I've had the chambers, East Pasco Chamber and Greater Pasco Chamber, help us do that. I've sent the information to code enforcement, Pasco County Code Enforcement, so they can get our flyers out. Social media, health department is helping us get that information out. Our team has distributed flyers. We gave them flyers the other day so they can help distribute the flyers out, and we will be sending out a press release as well, etc. We also continue to keep involved in the community and reaching out to as many residents as we can. And on a last note, I would like to give you some comments that I have personally been given about our efforts at Pasco County Mosquito Control District. Someone shared with me that they lived in another county and they were bitten up by mosquitoes at all times. They now live in this county and they have not seen the mosquito activity like they did, and they wanted to commend us for all our hard work here at Mosquito Control. I get a lot of keep up the great work. You do a great job. Thank you to your team, and they asked me to do that, to thank our team for doing that. So we do get a lot of kudos to our team at all times when I'm out in the community personally, and I know Karen does as well. So thank you so much, and if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. So again, Happy New Year to all of you.
Happy New Year, thank you.
Y'all are busy, thanks. Thank you.
Looks like we're at good of the order. Anything from you all?
I do.
Good.
So we've discussed in the past about a notification system as to when, we're gonna spray, whether it be on land or in air. Have we made any progress on that?
So we have investigated that, several different options. We actually had a meeting last week, with what I think will be our best option. We're just waiting on pricing. So,
Okay.
I don't have the details to present to you just yet, but we are working on it.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking is I had a comment from an old time friend of mine that lives out in the Moon Lake area, and obviously they're getting a lot of spraying and all that, and they'd just like to be notified as to when that's happening. Right. So I said that I know we were working on it, and hopefully push notifications out to cell phones or an app or something of that nature.
Yes, where the individual would have to opt in,
Yep.
to receive the notification from us. so that they're on our distribution list, and then we can push the notifications out for any pending treatment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All
Yes,
right.
we are.
Looking forward to hearing about that more.
You, Randy?
Good job to all, and Happy New Year. We appreciate the hard work and efforts you guys have been putting in, and very excited about the next 4 years, and the fact that Mr. Cox and I will be around to see things go forward. So, thanks again. Happy birthday, Adrian.
Karen did an event at at Newport Richey Main Street, which brought back some good feedback, so thank you for that. The documentation in the last 9 months has gone from okay to outstanding, so thank you for all involved with that. It's just, as we can see and see again this morning with, the detail that you see just on this insurance piece, it's like, wow, never seen anything like this. Good stuff. So upcoming meetings, we got our next board meeting, February the 18th. Page 1 in yellow. That's good. March 11th and April 15th. Events coming up, as was just mentioned, we got Dodd up in Gainesville. Is everybody attending that's able to?
I am.
I am.
Okay, great.
I'm just not at the Hilton.
Well, that's okay. You can still come to the Hilton in the daytime.
I'll
I
be
ended up calling them.
presenting,
Really?
Oh.
I
I'm
called
teaching
them.
part of one class,
They got
and
me
then,
to
Agna
try to
is
verify.
on.
Oh, speak louder so everybody can hear you.
They're having a sidebar.
Okay, go ahead.
I just said that I had actually had to call the hotel to get the reservation because it said it was full
Okay.
online.
Well, I did, and
Oh,
they
but
said,
you were
sorry.
able to get in.
Yeah, okay. Maybe I got you the day before.
You took mine.
I might have.
You took my room.
I might have. I give it back.
Those of you who have a shelter up there, Adrian's presenting. Go ahead, Adrian.
So I'm teaching part of a course on, the day prior to Director's Focus, I'll be there.
What are you teaching?
Part of the advanced mosquito control course.
Okay.
I did the same last year, a number of other years. And then Agna is participating in, one of the arbovirus classes, specific to our response to the local dengue this year.
Okay.
I'm only gonna be there for the commissioners meeting, so.
All right, same here. Okay, from that, I guess we're having a President's Day celebration on February 17th.
Yeah, the office.
It's like a bank holiday, I guess. Okay. And then Pasco County Fair, if anybody's interested in the milk-off, contact Tyrone.
Every day.
We have our annual meeting in March of MCA, and then Tallahassee is FMCA Legislative Days. That is on St. Patrick's Day this year, the 17th and the 18th. And then the following day, there is a general interview and press release on economic impact and mosquito controls in Florida that will be there. So if you're able to or want to attend that, you can do that. Phil Goodman will be the presenter on that. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.